Now I'm going to do another one on time management. Now, there is a bit of a myth believed by people who haven't experienced it firsthand that if you're homesteading or got a bit of a farm or are living off grid and all this sort of stuff, that you got piles of time to just sit there and do not much at all. Some preppers believe that if there's an economic collapse, they'll do homesteading and they'll have all the time in the world because they don't have a job to go to. That is so far from the truth, it's not funny. The reality is you're very busy, especially if you're trying to be self-sufficient or homestead or have a small farm. You are quite busy. With me, it's getting rid of weeds. It's 50 years worth of don't worry about it, neglect of looking after the weeds. They are now a bit of an issue. I am fighting like hell to get on top of it. I am pretty much winning. But with all of this stuff, you're never short of stuff to do. So there are things that you have to work out time management wise. For instance, there's a whole stack of different things that are all got to fit into, all your jobs basically got to fit into categories. And these categories involve, can I do it at night or does it have to be done during the day? Can I do it inside or do we have to do it outside? Can it be raining or does it have to be dry? Or even does it have to be raining or at least damp after a rain? Now, when it comes to spraying weeds, believe me, I'm not chipping them out by hand. I would literally kill myself trying, so I use glyphosate. But of course, it can't be raining like it is now when you're spraying glyphosate because it washes it off. Furthermore, I can't cut firewood outside when it's raining. Also, the wood has to be reasonably dry to stop me chainsaw blades from rusting prematurely. When I am burning a bonfire, I would rather it have rained or be very damp or very green recently as opposed to dry. And quite simply, you got to work out in the day you're dealing with. I mean, even spraying in large scale, you can't have a windy day. You've got to have a not windy day. So you've got to sort of work out what jobs you can do, and you've got a priority list. But it's not sort of a list. It's like there's a whole bunch of them just floating near the top, but they're not like number 1, number 2, number 3. It's like these are the top 6 or 8 things to do. And you've got to pick what one you're going to do based on the weather conditions. I can't spray if it's raining. I can light fires if it is, because having rain lowers the chance that the fire's going to get away. There's some things that I can only do during the day, such as cutting up wood with a chainsaw, because you need good visibility for doing things like that. Cutting down trees, you need very good visibility, and more than just visibility, you need real brains and being able to work out the weight balancing of the tree and where it's going to fall and all that. The other one is, anything dealing with sheep, you need to be able to see what you're doing. There are exceptions to this sort of stuff, such as housework, washing the dishes, washing the clothes. And you've got to sort of make things drop into these, categories, and then you do what you can do based on the weather conditions, based on how late it is and if the sun's still up. And that's why usually if I've got to do any dishes or anything like that, it's usually dark when I'm doing the dishes or when I'm washing my clothes, or if not, it'll be raining and I can't do these other things. And so you've got to sort of jostle these. It's not really a priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. It's like they're all jostled around based on the conditions at the time. And you've got to sort of do it like that. So that's one I thought I'd notice, I thought I'd bring up because I think it's something that a lot of people don't notice until they've actually had it face them, that, you know, these priorities can't be perfectly ordered because we're not in a office here where everything runs regardless. You know, it's one of these things where some things you need dry, some things you need to do undercover, some things you need rain or don't want rain. You know, and the same goes even with painting and stuff like that. Paint and gap sealant and glues, more particularly paint, probably because I've done a spray painting apprenticeship. You notice with that there's a lot revolving around humidity of the air, but primarily around temperature. And you know, you've got to sort of jostle between these days, especially when you sort of got, you know, you're going into the colder months and you get the occasional warm, dry day, but not many of them, and you've got to sort of make the most of those days when you do get them. It's winter here. We have had a few drier days, and I've been making the most of those. And now it's started raining again, and it'll probably keep raining for on and off, be wet for a few more days, and hopefully it'll clear up again. But while it's wet, you know, now I can do the things that I should have been doing inside, but I was making the most of what I could do outside when it was dry. So yeah, that's one thing I thought I'd mention to you.